What if the answers to life's biggest questions are hidden in plain sight? Let's uncover them together. Welcome to the Divine Sorcerer, where we bridge the gap between science and spirit. Join me on a journey through iatromathematics, witchcraft, alchemy, biochemistry, and astrology. We'll explore the ancient and the modern, the mystical and the scientific. But this isn't just about what I've learned. It's about opening your mind to new possibilities and challenging the conventional wisdom you've been taught. We're diving into controversial topics and offering fresh perspectives, aiming to elevate your consciousness and spark your curiosity. From the wonders of the cosmos to the secrets of ancient texts, we'll uncover the hidden knowledge that can transform the way you see the world. So, are you ready to embark on this enlightening adventure? Hit that subscribe button and join the Divine Sorcerer community, where we explore the unknown and rise to a higher state of understanding. Let's unlock the secrets of the universe, one discovery at a time. See you in the next video. Stay curious, stay enlightened.
All right, hey guys, what's up? Divine Sorcerer here with you. It's a little chilly out. You can tell winter is coming. All right. And so I was sitting here tonight, or today I should say, on the 11th month, the 11th day of the 11th month. Now, you guys know because you hear me talk about synchronicities all the time, right? And so I'm very big on synchronicities. Let me share with you what has transpired today. And so welcome, Seekers. Before we dive into the foundational magic of tarot and the deepest secrets of the cosmos, I have to share an incredible synchronicity that happened to me today, November 11th, the 11th month on our calendar, right? This morning I looked at the clock and I saw 1:11 a.m. Then, this afternoon, I was sitting here doing some studies and I saw 1:11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month. All them ones, baby. And so, this kind of perfect cosmic alignment, this massive flood of number ones, is a profound message about new beginnings, right? And the power of conscious creation. And so, here's my question for you, right? Why am I sharing this? Because these comic nudges happen exactly as I was preparing to share two huge things with you guys. And it just doesn't happen to me. It happens to all of us, right? You, me, the neighbor, the judge, the cop driving down the road wanting his donut, right? It happens to every single one of us, no matter what your position is, no matter where you are in life. Synchronicities happen if you just pay attention. Be aware. Many people aren't. Why? Because many people are doing this today. These things are dangerous. Waste of time. Worst thing humanity could have ever done, right? All right, and so the number one is about initiation, okay? Taking the first steps to create your reality. And what have I been doing, guys? I've been creating and consecrating my own tools for a new phase of teaching for the Temple of Veiled Seekers. And I want to show you the new tarot board. I've put it on my Facebook page, as you guys have seen. It's in the Temple of Veiled Seekers. But these aren't just objects. They're sacred containers for the energy of my will and my intention. And I'll be performing the invocation on these tools soon, live on Facebook, to show you exactly how fundamental magic is performed. A lot of people today watch TV and a lot of Hollywood schematics, or they see David Blaine and David Copperfield and all them. And yes, that is a form of magic, right? That is considered illusion. It's an illusionist, right? They get your attention and they do tricks by illusions. What I'm speaking of is the actual foundational magic that you prepare for before you do your incantation or your invocation or whatnot, right? It's the creating of the sigils with your blood and herbs. It's the you know uh, the specific gems laid out according to the specific planets and the specific time that you're working with, right? Like all these factors are little details that are going to strengthen your spell or strengthen your manifestation, right? And so making this board and this tarot cloth, right, carved with my own sigil and even the travel cloth. These aren't just objects, they're sacred containers for the energy of my will and intentment, like I just told you. But the synchronicities didn't stop there, guys, right? The synchronicities kept on going. This 111 flash of creation and energy hit me while I was finalizing a video on a much larger scale, a subject of creation and transformation. So when you put that in perspective of these synchronicities and what I have been working on and what I was working on currently when these manifestations or when these synchronicities showed up, right? I was manifesting, a video to put out for you guys. And so I want to challenge you guys. I want you to think beyond the immediate, beyond the here and the now. Okay. We're discussing the sun's stages, and it's 5 billion years remaining. That's right. The sun has a lifespan of 10 billion years. We've already been about 5 billion years into this cycle of the sun. So we've got about 5 billion years left, right? I know that's a long time. And in a way, what is time? Define the meaning of time, right? Because time is an illusion. We'll get into more on that in a later subject. But this leads me to a profound question. What is our future when our source of light fades? What happens, right? And as scientists say, we are made of star stuff. What if the scientific reality of cosmic dust, combined with ancient wisdom, points to a new way to understand life, death, and the very real possibilities of resurrection? This is the ultimate cycle of creation and recreation. We see it in nature. We see it in the stars, with the forming of a star, the death of a star, and the recreation. We see it in life cycles here on Earth. So these are all around us. Yeah. That does good, by the way, for the endocannabinoid system that you have in your own body. They don't tell you this. They don't tell you about your endocannabinoid system. Why? Because, oh my gosh, you might want to take care of yourself and put your own endocannabinoids in your system, right? That, again, is for another subject. You can find that on my page under medical astrology, right? i.e. through mathematics. But then that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about synchronicities and the sun and the stages of the sun and what happens after that, right? But the profound thing is the numbers and the synchronicities that I got while working on this video, right? And looking back at the last, couple months of my life. But to answer these cosmic questions, we must turn to the ultimate foundational magic, right? This is why this journey will take us into the Hermetic principles, the bedrock of all esoteric thought. We'll be exploring how mentalism, the universe is mental, and correspondence, as above, so below, explain not only the fate of the sun, but who you are and why we're truly here. This is a journey from the 111 on my clock to the sigil on my board to the fate of the stars. So let's begin, all right? Let's begin. And so I'm going to give you my theory first before we go through the stages of the sun and whatnot, right? My theory on life, death, and resurrection begins right here. Okay, like all stars will eventually run through its life cycle. It'll die, but what happens to the matter? It disperses, it transforms, and it reforms into a new stellar body and new celestial dust. We are made from star stuff, that same very dust. Think about that. Put that in your head. Think outside the box, guys, for once, right? Think about that. Don't just contemplate it, but really think about the phrase, we are made of star stuff, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand a lot more than what you did before you started. So this is the truth we see everywhere. The principles of rhythm, the death of winter giving way to the resurrection of spring, the death of the star material leading to the birth of human consciousness. If our very atoms are immortal travelers, constantly being recycled and reborn across the eons, then the death of the body is nothing more than the shedding of a temporary container. The golem suit, right? Which I tell everybody, I refer to this as the golem suit. The consciousness, the spirit, the inner energy, the star stuff, must, by the way, by the very laws of physics and magic, transform and begin its next great journey. We are not subjects of mortality. We are subjects to transformation. And so let's take a look here, right? This is my Facebook page. And here are the numbers that I posted about 10 hours ago. I saw 111 today, November 11th, at 1:11 a.m., the 11th day of the 11th month. All them ones, baby, all them ones. But then I also saw it in the PM. So not only did I catch it at 1:11 a.m. while I was working, I just happened to look at my phone to see if it was kratom time, because I was starting to hurt. Same thing again 12 hours ago later, okay? I started to hurt, and I was busy in my work, and I was like, man, is it kratom time? So then I look at my phone, and what happens again? Bam, 1:11 on the 11th day of the 11th month, right? You guys know how anal I am with synchronicities and the energies that surround us, the hermetics, the mathematics, quantum physics, quantum astrology. Like I'm into it. I read it. I practice it. I live. And anybody can tell you that knows me, I live this, like straight down from the diet that I eat to the things that I practice, the mentalism and the correspondence, everything. I live it, right? And so, if you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, you're more than welcome to friend request me. I don't know if you'll get through. A lot of people say that when they friend request me, they don't see the little add friend thing here. So if not, just send me a message or leave a comment in the video or something. But this is my Facebook page, and if you go to my Facebook page, you can see right here is the link. Okay, and this link will take you over to my Facebook or to my actual web page, right? Now, when you get over here to the web page, if you go, like, I got other stuff here, like the Temple of Veiled Seekers is coming, right? It's on its way. I'm in the midst of building it, but we've got ghost stories. Okay, these are just some things that I only got 2 on there. I'm still in the midst of putting stuff on there, but these are things that happened my recent investigations. This is the tab you want to go to, blog tab, okay? Because this is where I'm putting all of my findings, my stories, and just the things that I study and put out there. So we've got the life cycle of the sun, which is the video I was doing. Okay, this is what I was working on. But we've also got other great content here, guys, that I've put out. The heartbeat of the earth, conversation with Gemini, the spark of the cosmos, dialogue with Gemini, the cosmic theory, the unveiling, the divine sorcerer and the echoes of time. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff, even immortal mathematics, all kinds of stuff on here, guys. Men's mental health. Are you a hypocrite? Are you? Things about decoding the Baphomet. Even like I said, I throw mathematics, medical astrology. It's all here, right, guys? And so that's my website. If you guys get time, go ahead and go over and check it out. Spradparanormal.com. A lot of interesting stuff. Like I said, a lot of my stuff I put over there because they won't let me put it on social media. They either get me for, what is it, misinformation or things like that. Because this is stuff that's not known today. Like, this is stuff that was practiced thousands and thousands of years ago that they've tried to hush up and keep down so you don't know the truth, right? So let's go here. Where am I at here? I had everything situated. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the sun, right? Since we're on the subject with the synchronicities and whatnot, and this is the video I was working on, the core of the innermost region of the sun, extending from the center out to about 20 to 25% of the solar radius, is the powerhouse of the sun and the entire solar system. The temperature and the pressure. The core has the most extreme conditions, with a temperature of around 15 million degrees Celsius or 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, and an immense pressure of about 265 billion times the pressure here on Earth's surface. And so let's talk about its energy production. Damn, I almost dropped my cup. It works in the way of fusion or nuclear fusion, right? These extreme conditions are necessary for nuclear fusion to occur. This process preliminarily involves the proton to proton chain reaction, where hydrogen nuclei, the protons, are combined to form a helium nucleus. This conversion of mass into energy is described by Einstein's famous quotation, E equals mc squared, or EMC2, is what powers the sun. Now, the composition and the density. The core is incredibly dense. Now, remember, this is just the core, the inside ball, right? The core is incredibly dense, roughly 150 times the density of water. It consists of a plasma of hydrogen and helium ions. Now, the energy transport, the energy that's generated in the core, must then travel outward through the outer layers or through the other layers of the sun, starting with the radioactive zone. As you see here are the different zones. You've got the core, you've got the radioactive zone, the convection zone. And we're going to go through all these, all right? Just so you get a rundown of what everything is. So when we're talking about the radioactive zone, it is the second layer of the sun, the wrapping around the core, and extending from about 25 to 70% of the sun's radius. Its function. This zone is primarily responsible for transporting energy outward from the core via radiation. Energy generated by fusion in the core travels as photons, which means light particles, okay? These photons are continuously absorbed and re-emitted by the dense plasma, the ionized hydrogen and helium in this region. And so now we get into what they call the random walk, okay? Because the plasma is so dense, a photon travels only a short distance, a few millimeters, before being absorbed and re-emitted in a random direction. This process is known as the random walk due to its indirect zigzag path. It can take an incredibly long time. Estimates range from 100,000 to several million years for energy to travel or traverse the radiative zone and reach the next layer. The temperatures in the radioactive zones drop significantly as it moves outwards from about 7 million degrees Celsius near the core's boundary to about 2 million degrees Celsius at its outer edge. Now that is the radioactive zone, right? So now we're going to go to the next zone, which is the convective zone. The convective zone is the outermost layer of the sun's interior, extending from about 70% of the radius up to the visible surface, the photosphere. The function of this section, this layer or zone. This zone is characterized by the physical movement of plasma, which is the most efficient way to transport the remaining energy to the surface. Now, to elaborate on that, as you guys know, if you've been outside at night, or you've been watching like certain news channels, you've heard about the aurora borealis, okay, and how it's with that massive CME that we just had, our atmosphere and stuff is getting bombarded with them CMEs, which is creating the aurora borealis. That aurora borealis is nothing more than plasma, okay, high energy plasma. And so in this layer, the temperature is low enough and plasma is opaque enough that energy transport shifts from radiation to convection. Hot plasma near the radioactive zone boundary heats up, becomes less dense, and rises toward the surface. As the plasma reaches the cooler surface, it radiates its heat into space, becomes denser, and sinks back down to be reheated. So, appearance on the surface, this continuous boiling motion results in granulation on the sun's visible surface. Each granule is the top of a convection cell, appearing as a bright central area where hot plasma is rising, surrounded by darker sinking plasma. And so the temperature in the zone ranges from about 2 million degrees Celsius at the bottom to approximately 5,800 degrees Celsius, about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, at the top where it meets the photosphere. Okay, now let's go to the fourth layer, which is the photosphere. The photosphere is the first and the lowest layer of the sun's atmosphere, and it is the larger, or is the layer that we usually refer to as the sun's visible surface. The term photosphere literally means sphere of light. It is the layer from which sunlight escapes directly into space. It is the deepest part of the sun that we can observe with optical telescopes. Now, the opacity transition. This layer marks the boundary where the gas in the sun becomes transparent enough for light to stream freely outward. Below it, in the convection zone, the plasma is dense and opaque, blocking light from escaping directly. The temperature in the photosphere averages about 5,800 degrees Celsius, which again is 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is the layer's temperature that determines the color and intensity of the visible light the sun emits. So the key features here is the photosphere exhibits several crucial features. Granulation. This is the granicellular pattern that covers the entire surface. Each granule is the top of a convection cell where hot plasma rises in the center and cooler plasma sinks to the edges. Sunspots. These are temporary dark, cooler regions in the photosphere. They are caused by intense magnetic activity that inhibits the flow of heat from the interior, making them appear darker than the surrounding hotter plasmas. And so the next layer is the chromosphere. And the chromosphere is the second layer of the sun's atmosphere located directly above the photosphere. The term chromosphere means sphere of color. It is normally invisible, but the light from the photosphere is too bright. But during a total solar eclipse, it can briefly appear as a thin reddish pink ring around the moon's outline. This color, sorry guys. New site visitor. All right, cool. And so the term chromosphere means sphere of light or sphere of color. It is normally invisible because of the light's photosphere is too bright. During the total solar eclipse, it briefly appears as a thin reddish pink ring around the moon's outline. This color is primarily due to the emission of hydrogen alpha light. So the temperature paradox. This layer is puzzling because the temperature paradoxically rises with altitude, increasing from about 4,000 degrees at its base, cooler than the photosphere, to nearly 100,000 degrees Celsius at its top. So we're going from 4,000 degrees Celsius to 100,000 degrees Celsius from its base to its top, where it transitions into the corona. This heating is believed to be caused by magnetic waves and turbulence originating from the layers below. The atmospheric features. The chromosphere is highly dynamic and features several temperature structures. the spiculus. Jets of gas that rapidly shoot up from the photosphere into the chromosphere and then fall back down. Flares and prominences. Large scale eruptions of plasma and magnetic fields often anchored in the chromosphere, which can extend far into the corona. Okay. And then our last one is, of course, the corona itself, the outer layer. The corona is the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere, extending millions of kilometers into space and gradually turning into the solar wind. The term corona is Latin for crown, like the chromosphere. It is normally hidden by the brilliance of the photosphere, but becomes dramatically visible during a total solar eclipse as a faint pearly white halo of plasma. And so the extreme heat paradox. This is the most shocking and active layer of the sun. The temperature here dramatically soars to between 1 and 3 million degrees Celsius, far hotter than the photosphere at 5,800 degrees Celsius. Scientists believe this extreme heating is caused by complex magnetic waves and rapid reconnection events in the sun's magnetic field. Low density. Despite its high temperature, the corona is extremely tenuous, meaning low density. This means that while the individual particles are moving very fast, high temperatures, there are so few of them that they don't transfer much heat, which is why the corona looks faint. Now, the solar wind origin. The high temperatures in the corona provide enough energy for the plasma to overcome the sun's gravity. This constant outward expansion of coronal plasma forms the solar wind, which flows throughout the solar system, affecting all planets. And so we're going to elaborate on that a little more as we go through. This is just a quick video to start off with synchronicities, of course, right? But then to show you the video that I was working on when these synchronicities had popped up. Like this is all a big deal, right? Because as a veiled seeker, this is what we do, right? We study and we come to terms with what's going on scientifically that can be proven versus mythology. Like we look back at the mythology of what's going on and what do we see today. And again, stick with me because in our later videos, I'm getting to a point. I just think it's very important that we start off with the sun as the center of our solar system. Okay. And even your Bible says what? You can't get to the Father but through the Son. Our sun is very, very important. Without our sun, nothing on earth grows. Life isn't sustained. Everything dies, right? So our sun, very, very important, which is why we went through the stages of the sun. And again, for those that are watching, if you want to follow what I'm doing, where'd it go? If you want to follow what I'm doing, you can always go to my website, spradparanormal.com, which again, just type it into the bar, or you could go over to my Facebook, hit me up as a friend, and the link is right here in the bio. Okay. And we also have on Facebook the Temple of Veiled Seekers, guys. It's a public group, and I post some of my stuff here in the group, like the walking stick I just made and did an invocation on. A 4 or 5 part series on time and mystic. Like there's a bunch of good stuff in here. There's the board I just made, as you can see, the tarot board that I just made, did invocation on. But again, there is so much stuff here, guys, and I'm going to be talking about more of this, like I said, in the later videos. The sun was just the starting point, as with everything, you always go back to the beginning, right? Well, what happened in the beginning of our solar system? The sun was born. The sun was born, right? And so we're going to get more into astrology and the planets and how they operate and a lot of hermetics, okay? Because again, hermetics, the mind is all, and the mind is mental. Everything is mental. The universe is mental. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the universe, so the soul, right? Again, we got a lot to talk about. I don't want to bombard you. It's already been like probably a half hour or so. So again, go to the Facebook page, go to my website, check it out, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys on the next video. Stay blessed and stay warm. It's cold out there.